Maybe that's security.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my God, yes. A lot changed. Yeah, I know you hired me. Yeah, and I actually met her in person. Otherwise, we just met her.
I have straight up potatoes. I think we're ready. Are you ready?
I think I'm ready. I'm just looking. Looks like we've slowed down on the admittance. I mean, people are coming. People are still coming in, but we're in good shape.
Okay.
I mean, we don't want to. I don't think we're going to be pushing time at all, but you do. You do. It's scary. Now, are you connected with sound?
I have my sound muted.
Okay, but
Creating a huge echo.
okay. I'm trying to think
I
how.
have a microphone.
I'm trying to think how, because I just saw Shannon log on. I'm trying to think how Shannon's going to do her report.
Basically, do you have your sound muted?
Yes.
Your sound is not muted.
My sound's not muted? Oh, you're right.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Ron. Thank you, Carrie. We'll go ahead and call to order this June 6th general membership meeting of the Missouri Evergreen Consortium. First item on the agenda is approval of minutes of the April meeting. We have a motion from Eva Dunn to approve the minutes. Second by Terry York. Any discussion of the minutes? If not, chair calls for a vote. All in favor of approving the minutes of the April meeting, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? If there are any opposed, Karen says you take the next set. So the motion passes. Executive board report, we have some circulation policy revisions to present. I've got those up on the screen and they should have been sent out to you in the
Yeah, they're in the new share packet.
so I should probably call on Rhonda to discuss that.
Hi, good morning. These additions to the Missouri Evergreen Consortium circulation policy were intended to clarify for all MEC libraries the types of materials that might be unsuitable to transit back and forth between libraries, but also to reinforce that MEC is primarily a resource sharing consortium. And so to clarify, I guess, that the expectation is that we are going to be sharing the majority of what we circulate in our own library with other members of MEC. So we were just asked to clarify a little bit more, and this is the result. Section 2 points you to section 5, where most of the meat of the changes are. Questions?
I know it's kind of hard to read. The new language in section 2 says, therefore, it is an expectation of membership that all items that circulate at the owning library will also be shared with patrons of Missouri Evergreen Consortium member libraries, except in cases when the item is not suitable for transit. More information about these items can be found in section 5. And so, like Rhonda said, section 2 refers down to section 5, which reads, libraries should expect to lend materials as freely as they wish to borrow them. However, not all material is suitable for lending or transit. Member libraries are not compelled to lend materials which are fragile, items containing many small parts, items that are overly large or irreplaceable, and reference or professional titles reserved for staff use. Equipment, kits, library of things, reference, and local history items are example of materials that may be difficult or undesirable to lend. So, any questions now that we've clarified that, had that language read? If there are no questions or discussion, the chair would call for approval of the revision of the circulation policies. I didn't see where that came from. Mary Beth. A second. Colleen, second. Any further discussion? All right. Call for a vote. All in favor of approving the circulation policy revisions as presented, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you. I can close that out. Maybe that'll be one less struggle for me. Okay. Under executive board report, other activities. What have been our other activities?
At 2 meetings, we've got notes on I don't know. I mean, everything that's actionable, we always bring here. Maybe that's a good time to kind of remind everybody about that. I mean, that the executive board is a referral, right? The executive board is a referral board. So they'll kick the tires, they'll try to make it the best that it can be, and then they bring it here. And the actual, where the rubber meets the road is this room. So very rarely will a decision get made in the executive board that doesn't actually come here for you all to approve it. There are exceptions. There are emergency things. We have to move quickly, and that has to happen. So that actually happened last month. We were having an issue with our secure socket layers, and this is all sort of internet stuff. And we had to make a decision, spend $500 to allow Equinox to get us a new secure socket layer and manage that. But that's the type of thing that will happen in the event. So what you just saw is how it works. They rehash, kick the tires, make sure it's as best as it can be, and then the actual decision and the actual power is in this room.
And to add what Steve was saying about the urgency of that, why that couldn't wait to come here. If we didn't have that in place by June 1st, chances are we wouldn't have been able to access the online catalogs or staff interface or anything like that. We thought you all would give us the blessing to go ahead and make that all workable. Okay, we'll go back over here. Executive Director report.
I'll turn on my camera. Sorry. Just a few quick updates in terms of current migration. Adair resource sharing, as you know, went live on May 29th. a couple of minor little hiccups that happen every time everybody turns on resource sharing. But Sue, you've actually been working with them. I mean, things are going pretty well, aren't they?
For the most part,
Yeah.
there were very great opinions that were great stuff. And the rest of the staff is now fully which is fine. I mean, that's the way I live up. You know, as a director, well, like you, as the guy, there were a lot of the included information. We always talk about positions, even though the executive board level, most positions were decentralized. We're still passing out about kind of that, I think, really well, as you're coming.
Right, and I think, it's worth talking a little bit, out of the room. I mean, I think everybody knows that there was a director change in the midst of the migration, which, Missouri Evergreen, all things being equal, that's not what we would like to see happen. We would like to be our project manager, maybe at least to begin, but all things being Sarcoxy is moving along quickly. We have moved their go live date to July the 11th with the blessing and cooperation of the state library. Sarcoxy County Library, smaller than the size of this room, and everybody there is happy. And so we are having some issues in terms of finding training and things like that, training time, but we're going to make it work. And it's going to be really good because I think what we're discovering is that we're also going to be able to kind of bring Sarcoxy into the community of libraries and kind of help them be a little bit more professional and get a little bit more support. I think that's going to be a really good.
Steve,
Yes.
I hate to disturb you, but you're probably going to have to come up here. I don't think the microphone coming to you is working because they can't hear on the Zoom. Me?
Oh, yeah, that makes, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, okay, I got it. Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry.
We're going to go through this at every meeting because every room.
Because every room's different. Every room's different. Okay, yeah, sorry about that. So, yeah, and everybody at home, sorry about that. So just quick recap. Adair's going fine with minor hiccups, and Sarcoxy, July 11th is their new go live date and going pretty well, all things considered. Next one with MLC, and we're still looking at Q4 of 2024. Actually, we've got a couple of MLC people. We haven't actually finalized a go live date, right? Yeah, I couldn't remember that we had, and so I think we're still looking at Q4 to do that. And then I've had some additional queries from Centralia, the Lewis Library of Glasgow, and Taney County have all been talking to me. And there was one other library, but they were mostly talking to me about other stuff. And we talked a little bit about Evergreen things. So that's kind of where we are with migration. It's going to be a busy year, and it's already shaping up to be a busy 2025 if all of those queries actually come true. Mentioned the DNS and secure socket, and Ron told you why the executive board moved quickly on this, because we wanted your OPACs to continue to work after June the 1st, which was really, really important. But the other important thing now is that Equinox is going to be managing our domain name service, which this is getting way into the weeds, but I was doing that. I did that mostly because I've been on the internet since Al Gore invented it. And so I knew how to do it, but not every executive director is going to. So it's probably a good idea to have Equinox manage your domain names, and it's only going to cost $500 a year. And they'll help us make sure that our security and secure sockets are actually working. Last thing I wanted to update you on was KPAC. And we can thank Greg over here for discovering KPAC for us. It was sort of a hidden module, as you all know, in Evergreen. And Greg said, hey, is there something that's a little bit more kid-friendly? And sure enough, there was, that no one's really using. And so Rogan which many of you have met Brogan at Equinox, has been sort of playing around with KPAC and trying to make it better. He's kind of having fun with it. It's kind of a fun project. And as I've been talking with Felicia, our account manager, Felicia keeps pointing out that, you know, Rogan's going to continue to have fun with this as long as it's 1 or 2 installations. But once it gets up to 77 installations, which is where we are in membership right now, it's not going to be fun anymore. It's going to be a chore. And so what Felicia is working on now is trying to create a scope and say, this is what Equinox will do for us in terms of customizing and making KPAC available for us and for the world. And so what will happen is once we get that, you can say, I want KPAC. It will come to your library. It can be customized with probably no more than maybe 5 additional searches. There'll be a bunch of searches. Mark Twain, Building Block Award, you know, Missouri, shapes, you know, stuff like that. That will come standard. Yeah, Bluey. Those will come standard. But you can probably customize up to maybe 5 custom searches. And those will be things like, you know, that are very, very specific to your library and your locale, perhaps. And there'll be the opportunity for you to put your logo probably on it. But otherwise, it'll be all standardized. We are going to try to work on standardizing the graphics so that it all looks the same, possibly even employ a graphic designer to do that Equinox works with. And so once Felicia brings that scope, then we'll know what it means to employ KPAC. If we need to do some additional programming, then we still do have our development fund that we haven't tapped for the year, that we might be able to use that to help make sure that KPAC is where we need it to be. And then if you want something above and beyond, then you could have a consulting contract with Equinox to have them even do more customizing KPAC. So that's kind of where we are right now with KPAC. Yes. When it might come out. So, I mean, Greg, you have KPAC, right? I mean, they're yeah. So it's not like it's vaporware. It exists. I mean, so what we're really talking about is the customization and the uniformity stuff. And Felicia's been working on that. I remind her every 2 weeks whenever we meet is that, you know, I really want to have that scope document in place so that I can tell everybody, you know, effective August 1st, you'll be able to do, or whenever it is. So I don't really have it yet, but it should come pretty quickly. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Let's. Thank you. More questions? More questions? I want to thank you all for letting me be your executive director for the last year and for letting me be your executive director for the next year. It's been really fun. And but hopefully you all are getting what you expect, and I'm getting what I expect. I mean, it's pretty, I really do enjoy it. So with that, if there's nothing else, turn it back over to Ron.
Okay, so we are now up to the financial report. Is Shannon available? Okay.
Good morning. How is everyone? Can you see my screen, Ron?
I think that is actually, yeah, that's your screen.
Okay, perfect. The current financial statements did go out in your board packet. The financial statements that are in this month's packet are as of May 31st. We really have a strong bottom line currently with Missouri Evergreen, considering as far as we are into the fiscal year. Our current equity balance as a consortium is $296,000. That includes a current year revenue over expenses balance of $31,709. Something I wanted to note on the balance sheet, in February, Missouri Evergreen did invest $50,000 into a Fidelity money market account. At that time, that account was earning 5% interest. That does have a varying interest rate, so I'm not sure what its current interest yield is. But year to date, from when we invested those funds in February until May 31st, we've earned $636 in interest. If you look at budget versus actuals, starting on page 4, our budget looks really, really healthy. We did get a grant payment from the Missouri State Library, a little over $60,000. We'll have one more final grant payment after the fiscal year wraps up of $42,000. But anticipated revenue that we still have yet to receive between now and the end of the fiscal year is around $57,000. That includes the grant payment and Syndetics billing, because we bill Syndetics a year in arrear. And expenses look really good. If you're tracking expenses, we still have yet $58,000 in unspent budgeted expenses. So I see no reason why we won't end the year with a budget surplus of $30,000 or more. We're really in a strong financial position. Does anyone have any questions about the current budget versus actuals report or about the balance sheet?
Questions? Anyone? I'm not seeing any questions. Oh, Sue has a question.
And how much is the passive coming from, that we have received so far?
That has been $636 and change since February.
I like that.
Yes. Yeah. Just as a reminder, if people missed that meeting, what was discussed, Shannon took a conservative approach to it since this was our first time, and decided that we would not miss $50,000 in liquid income. And it's still relatively liquid going into that other fund. She didn't want to overcommit us, but basically anything we get from there, like Sue said, is passive income. It's free money. So I know we all appreciate all the work that Shannon put into that. Doesn't look like we have any more questions, so thank you for your report, Shannon.
Okay, I just wanted to mention a couple of things coming up. Steve and I will be working really closely together to build the FY 2025 budget. Some things you'll see in that budget include an increase to the base Missouri Evergreen membership fee. The current Missouri Evergreen membership fee schedule went into place in FY 2022. When the membership approved that fee schedule, they approved a built-in 2% annual increase to the base fee through 2025. So in 2024, that base fee was $885. When the bills go out this September, you'll see that base fee of $903, that 2% annual increase. Something else Steve has been working diligently on is to find a solution to text notifications. Our members are having mixed experiences with text notifications. They're getting reports from patrons that they're not receiving their notifications reliably. We've looked at some, the proverbial we, Steve looked at some third-party options to as a solution to text notifications. And I think we found some really reasonably priced options. And so we're going to bring back a proposal to the membership in our August meeting that would include an increase to the membership fee in order to provide a more reliable and stable text message notification service. So just be aware that that will be coming out in FY 2025, and we'll be presenting it at the August meeting. Any questions? I will say also that we probably need to, in 2025, work up a new Missouri Evergreen membership fee schedule, as this fee schedule will conclude with the FY 2025 fiscal year. Any questions about that?
Okay, there don't appear to be any questions about that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, committee reports, catalog. Do we have Kate on the call, or I know I saw Liz? Don't see Kate, so I will call on Liz if she would want to give a cataloging committee report.
Hello, everybody. So cataloging committee report, regional trainings have been completed for this, I guess, spring summer session 2024. I believe we had 65 total people at 5 different locations. I don't even know what Kate had put on the cataloging report. I was not thinking I would have to do this, so I apologize. I will say, while Ron is looking for the cataloging report, because I don't have it up either currently, that we have a cataloging meeting on Monday at 11 a.m. Sorry, guys, I'm gonna pin it. I don't know what Kate put on the report. I don't have it right in front of me.
I don't, that's not one that I called up, so it caught me by surprise too.
The cataloging report is in the packet.
Okay,
But that's, I mean, that's okay. I mean, I think Liz gave it up.
yeah, Liz gave the highlights. We do have the cataloging meeting Monday. Attendance has been really good at them. And that is one thing, as a reminder that catalogers are required to attend a certain amount of meetings per year. I think it's like 4 out of the 12. And they can either do that live or by going back and watching the YouTube video afterwards. Liz is really good about getting the YouTube video put up within a day or two after the meeting. We have had changes in the composition of the cataloging committee. Braden Jones from Polk County is a new member. We're really excited to have him. Josh Lamb, we lost 3 members. We lost Josh Lamb, Darcy Humphrey, and Nancy Roden. So we lost 3, gained Braden, and as we start to bring on the MLC libraries, we know they're going to want to participate in the committee also. So that's where we stand. I'll explain how I hate laptop mouse pads. Okay, so next is Rhonda with the circulation committee report.
Okay, so in your packet, there is a summary of what we've been doing the last 2 months. We spent quite a bit of time on the circ changes that you all just passed, so thank you for that. I also want to bring to, just to clarify, when ordering items for display, it's great to order from other libraries, but remember that MEC proximity settings determine how those things that you order from other libraries are going to come to you. So first, they're going to pull from your local library system, then it's going to go out to your hub, and then to the greater Missouri Evergreen library community. So if you are pulling a lot of items, which is totally fine, you might want to put some copy holds on things outside of your hub so that the libraries in your hub, everything is not pulled from them, that it would circulate, it would go for the greater to the greater Missouri Evergreen community, just so that we're not taking everything on a topic from 1 or 2 libraries. We're kind of sharing that around. The clarification on billing lost and damaged items that was passed at the last membership meeting has now been added to the materials handling best practices. And also we are working on we're working with MALA to address adding a paragraph to the materials best handling practices that includes all the recommendations from MALA and anything from how to get the most current courier label to how to label your boxes, what to do if you're having a problem, all of that. So we are working on, that's our next big project, I guess. Also in the pack or the report that I sent you, there is a bug going around in Missouri Evergreen. And so if you want to take just a moment to read that paragraph, and if you feel like you'd like to add heat to that bug, go ahead and do it. Basically, it's when you are placing a hold in somebody's record, you're already in their record, and then you go to the catalog. If you click on the title and then go and click on view, it takes away the patron's information when you're ready to place the hold. So this bug would fix it to where you don't have to go back and re-enter the patron's name or the patron's barcode to pull that information back up. And then lastly, we have two new circulation committee members. So Heather Arnold from the Municipal Library Consortium has joined us, and then Crystal Howder from Lebanon Laclede. So we're thrilled that they have joined the committee also. Our next committee meeting is going to be Tuesday, June 25th at 11. Like Ron said, it's an expectation of Missouri Evergreen that your library will attend or at least view the recording and minutes 4 times out of the year. So we sent out notices to those libraries who had not reached that point yet. And so many of the libraries, thank you so much, have contacted me and are well on the way to getting back to that 4 monthly attendance things that are needed. So thank you so much for that. Continue to go ahead and send me information if you have to view it. We would always love to see you at the committee meeting, but if the time and day does not work, just view online. So thank you to Ron. He's the one, I usually clip the video and Ron's the one who posts it for us. And so thank you to him also.
Any questions for Rhonda with circulation committee activities? I see no questions. They have been very busy over the past couple of months. So thank you, Rhonda and committee, for everything you've been doing for us. So next, Consortium Assistance Network with Leanne. So
Hello,
Leanne,
everyone. Can you hear me okay?
try it again.
Are you able to hear me okay?
Yes, I've got a microphone now.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, as Steve was saying earlier, we are going through some of the upcoming migrations. Last night, we actually had a meeting with Lena Hernandez to begin some of the training with Sarcoxy. So I sat in on that, and that seemed to be going pretty well. They have kind of a schedule of the upcoming training sessions. So everything's just kind of moving along there. So that's about it.
All right, so any questions for Leanne with anything onboarding, migration, retraining related?
Ron, this is Mary Kay Emrich, the migration specialist. The migration or the CAN organization, the CAN group has done a phenomenal job in stepping up. Both Leanne and Carrie Klein are serving as mentor libraries for Sarcoxy simply because Sarcoxy is happening on a fast schedule. And the reason they're able to do that is thanks to Sue Lightfoot Marine, who wrote a beautiful and very intent-oriented outline of how to serve as a mentor library. We will be using that as a document to create a mentoring manual. So hats off to that, to the CAN. They've really risen to the occasion.
Thank you, Mary Kay.
Anything else for CAN? Alrighty. Next item is reports. Tony Miller. Tony's not here. Yeah, didn't think I saw him either. Reports, we're kind of in a transition phase, trying to decide, attendance hasn't been the greatest because the reports are not the most glamorous thing we have going on. So we're trying to decide, is reports committee meeting too much? Is Tony investing too much time for what, what he's getting back out of it? So we're kind of in a little bit of a flux of trying to decide really how often to meet, what to cover when they meet. And please, if you've got anybody who can wrangle the databases and create reports and understand reports, refer them to Tony so he has some company on that committee.
Just one quick thing about reports, and I'll come up here so I can kind of get into both microphones, is that the CAN committee has been working on creating a set of CAN reports, not really intended, that go with brand new migrants. So as you migrate into the system, you have an automatic set of reports that are in a folder ready to go and a lot easier for everybody. I think we identified that at West Plains. I think we did it at Adair, and hopefully it's going to make life a lot easier for people.
Could we get that in their report for everyone, even the current?
What?
I would like to see what's in there.
So for people on the call, Terry York was asking, can we get those list of canned reports for existing Evergreen libraries? We can get those shared to us.
Or is this a folder in our shared thing that says basic startup reports, something that we can all share?
Yeah, that would be a good idea because, we've all got reports we're using. Some of them were designed by Mobius, some of them we've cobbled together, and it would be nice that it would basically, if we're comparing statistics between libraries, we'd be all speaking the same language. We would know that the reporters were asking for the same thing from each library each time. So yeah, that's a good idea. And Steve is diligently taking notes, so I'm sure that will be brought to every.
And you were talking about the reports committee. I think that a lot of it, no one wants to go in that report because I don't think anybody feels that comfortable with reports. But maybe some committee members who are just inquiring minds and see why they do this, why, instead of just more curious, extremely curious, we're really frustrated with why it doesn't work the way they think it should. Would maybe be good to see.
Okay, yeah. Basically, what Terry is saying is inquiring minds get volunteered for the reports committee. Which is a good point. If you don't fully understand reports, but you have to work with them so much. Yes, Liz, report curious. That would be a good place to build that comfort level. And it's kind of like I go back to the first season of Grey's Anatomy when they're telling the intern, watch one, do one, teach one. So that,
Well, I have a cataloger who I think would be really good at that. Learned on the job, has no library background originally. And I think he could get on that committee as someone who has come from knowing nothing to doing a really good job. It's like, oh no, I don't know enough. I'm not an expert. Or I don't want people to think that our committee has to be the people who know everything.
right. So I think Terry has just offered her cataloger as tribute for the reports committee. Thank you for that, Terry. Sometimes we forget we are the bosses and we can volunteer our employees to do those things. I just took a part-time person full-time, and that's going to be one of his things, is to participate not only in Missouri Evergreen reports, but the International Evergreen Committee reports meetings. So he has a computer science degree. It's great.
Hey, that's database stuff. Maybe the reports committee would be accepted.
The language that our reports are written in was what he did his senior project on. So yes, I have volunteered him as tribute as well. Next, if we do we have any more questions, comments, reports about reports?
Ron, I did recently attend one of the Equinox webinars, and it does look like they are working on some improvements to reports and some coming updates.
Would be nice.
pretty far down the line. I watched it.
Right, and it's probably going to be about 2 years or at least a year and a half, I think, before we would have it, I'm assuming.
Okay, so help is on the way. Moving on with our agenda, we have a report from Mala with Jane. So Jane is in the meeting. We're just waiting for her to. You know what? I don't see her.
Okay. Then we'll see if she comes back.
Okay, so Missouri State Library, and we have Janet here with us. So I'll ask Janet to come up to the microphone.
Good morning. So I'm not gonna give you a whole lot of things today or this morning, since Robin will be giving an update this afternoon. So a couple of things specifically about Missouri Evergreen. So we've been talking about cataloging and WebGury for a while. We know cataloging is kind of off the table. So WebGury will be coming very soon. We are getting a subscription for 2 to 9 users that the cataloging committee can then give those licenses out to the appropriate people that they feel need to use that. And whether it's all the cataloging committee or part of cataloging committee and others, that's up for the consortium leaders to decide. And we decided to go that way because, one, it's more cost effective. If we did 10 one-user licenses, it had to be assigned to a library, and each license was $350, so that was like $3,500. But doing the 2 to 9 users for one subscription to Missouri Evergreen, that's $850. But then as we have staff turnover at the libraries, as you know, if licenses need to go to other people, then Missouri Evergreen staff can handle that. Otherwise, you have to contact me. I contacted GLC, saying you need a quote because it has to be assigned to another library, and it's just, yeah. So happy to have that done. Well, almost done. Probably in the next 30 days. So that's we will be starting the grant with new PUCs in about a week or two. We'll have the application for FY25. And Steve and I met with Harry and Robin earlier this year to go over the budget and all that. So there's no surprises in the grant or that will be coming for request. And I forget because I don't have it in front of me and didn't think about bringing it, but it does include some funds for the Aspen Discovered layer. And then because we did an amendment on this year's grant for some, and our anticipation is to add the rest of that into FY25.
Thank you. So,
I have a question about WebGury. So if WebGury is part of the
So Mary Beth has a question about WebGury, and I'm going to have to let either Ron or Liz or Kate explain really more details what it is and what it does. But it is an OCLC product.
So what WebGury does is you've got this book in front of you, and you know a subject heading for it. You can go into WebGury and do a subject heading search, and it'll tell you why this is a 153.7. Or you've got a book on philosophy, so you go to the 100, and it has the 110s or this area, the 120s or this area, and you can just go and build and build and build. And Liz says she could show everybody if we want her to, and since we're running really good on time, yeah, Liz, show us.
So, my migration trying to catalog. Now I'm just trying to get my brain around
WebDuty is a separate subscription.
Okay, so this does not replace,
No.
I can't pay thousands of dollars, I need my own web creation subscription. Okay.
No, it'll cost you more.
So we still do our OCL catalog.
Right, right. You know, this is just a separate service. Like you can find duty numbers sometimes in OCLC records, but sometimes they have bare bone records where they don't have a duty number. Or, you know, if you're doing local stuff, originals, you know, a local author that didn't go through Library of Congress to get a record. So, Liz, you have the mic.
Okay, can you guys see my WebDuty screen?
Yes.
Your volume is really low, Liz, even with the microphone up to you.
Okay, let's see. Is that better?
Tiny bit, yeah.
Okay. So basically, WebDuty is a subscription. It would go on top of, if you already have OCLC, you can get WebDuty separately. So if you have OCLC, it would be an add-on, or you can just get WebDuty. Basically, what it allows you to do is, I mean, you can search and build numbers. But the great thing is, like, I already have some searches I've done. So you can search by a subject heading and it will bring it up. So instead of having to know, like, oh, I have a book about wild horses, I need to look in the 500s for science, down, 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 down. You can actually just search a lot of the times on your subject heading and it will bring it up and bring you up the choices, whether it's a science book or whatever. This also allows you to easily build a local number. So genealogy, and you can actually in here save numbers. So if you know, like, I'm always having to look up, say, your local number, you can look it up and then save it. And then you can have, like, it's like basically a little table and it has all your most used things that you can just reference back to instead of having 100 Post-its on your screen like most of us do.
Yes, this, like Janet said, it replaces the print DDC.
Yes, it's the print DDC, but much easier to use, because if you've used the DDC, it'll say, like, oh, reference table 4, and then you have to go get that volume of the DDC and then reference table 4. This has it built in. So let's say I'm doing, you know, wild horses and create build number here. Let's say it's wild horses in, you know, North Carolina. I want to put that on the end. That automatically takes me to the table and shows me how to build it instead of having to then reference that other DDC book.
And if I can jump in and add just a little bit, the other big advantage to this is, you know, as you said, replacing the print volumes that you may or may not have. But if you are a member of the cataloging committee, your library doesn't have WebDuty, this is something that we could, you know, assign to you theoretically. I mean, I'm not sure how all of this is going to actually end up working, but then the cataloging committee becomes your resource. So I've got this book and I can't tell, does this go in business or does it go in narratives, or, you know, where does it actually go? You can call the cataloging committee and they can assign a number for it based on what's due. So that's kind of fun.
And even before we had the WebDuty subscriptions that State Library is going to graciously provide for us, we have been doing our best when, you know, you get a smaller library cataloger that, you know, might use WebDuty once or twice a year and they really need it right now. You know, cataloging committee is a group of helpers. They really are. And so you put that out to the listserv that you need a Dewey number. If Liz doesn't jump right on it, somebody else on the committee is going to. And that person had the Dewey number probably that day.
So are you saying the state library is going to provide that?
For the members of the cataloging committee to spread that information out as needed, yeah.
We take, you go straight to that document.
Yes. Yeah, my library pays for it.
Like $300.
It is, well, I think mine's like $368. And for a library with a bigger budget who can afford it, that's great. You know, we're having this resource at the cataloging committee members' hands so they can, you know, and it's not the easiest thing to use either. So even if smaller libraries had it, you might not take the time to really learn how to use it.
If you have WebDewey and would like to know more about it and know how to use it, I am happy to, show you how to do that. So
Liz is offering to help train. If your cataloger has WebDewey and doesn't know all the power it has behind it, she'll be happy to train them in it. I said catalog committee to a group of helpers. And we have Kate with us now. Kate was a little delayed getting here, but Kate, would you like to kind of summarize your cataloging committee report?
I would. I'm so sorry that I'm late. Let me bring that up so I can do just that. Sorry, bear with me for a minute. Let's see here. We do have we have one new committee member, Braden from Polk County. We want to thank Joshua at Poplar Bluff, Nancy at Heartland, and Darcy at Carthage for their amazing service to the committee over the past year or several years. They have decided to round off, to come off the committee, and we are, so we invited Braden, and then we will have at least one member of the MLC joining our committee as well when they come on. I'm not sure if Liz talked about how successful the regional cataloging trainings were, but they were well attended, and several good things came out of those trainings. One of them being that the test server is now kind of more, you can see it more prominently that it's the test server. It looks a little different than our live server, so you kind of know for sure that you're in that test server. This is important for catalogers because as they're doing their certification, they're often working on their certification, but also working their job at the same time. So they're kind of switching between the live server and the test server. So this kind of is just a visual cue for them and is helpful. Our listservs discussions have been going great. I appreciate everybody that is doing their part, and if something is put out on the listserv, to check that libraries are checking their items. And I did also want to mention when Liz did her presentation at the International Online Evergreen Conference, she did a well-attended presentation about creating the ODU certification for Missouri Evergreen. She sent the link out to people at the conference, and so we have had non-Missouri Evergreen people come in and kind of look at our certification, kind of audit it, and see how they can adapt that to doing their own certifications. So just more things that Liz has done that are very well received and very helpful, not only to Missouri Evergreen, but to the Evergreen community at large.
And of course, Liz didn't admit to that to us.
Of course she didn't. I will sing her praises forever. That's really all I have to mention. If anybody has any questions, I am happy to answer them. Also, always remember, directors, catalogers, anybody, we have the cat help at moevergreenlibraries.org email that you can ask any question that you would like to. And somebody on the committee will answer that. And you can always also email Liz at cataloger@moevergreenlibraries.org as well.
Any questions for Kate? All righty. Thank you for your report, Kate. Oh, Janet's got one other thing.
I just want you to know I am sitting in on the sarcophagus training and going through the whole process of that. So the last couple of years with the new library joining Evergreen, the working on the migration grant with the libraries has come to the state library instead of the executive director of Missouri Evergreen. And I felt like this is a way for me to better understand all the behind the scenes things of what goes on when the library migrates. And actually with the trainings being virtual, that's gonna help me actually understand. And when you're talking about buckets and column pickers and things like that, I kind of understand it when you're at the users conference, but this will help me even better. So I'm looking forward to that. And just remember, State Library is here to help you, not only for Evergreen, but your other grants for summer reading and et cetera. So if you have any questions, please reach out to us. Thank you.
There we go, cursor hard to find. Okay, so now under other matters, governance, we have acknowledgement of expiring board terms. So we've started a new thing this year, recognizing people for their terms of service on the library board. Okay, I'm doing the library board turnover right now too. So Missouri Evergreen Executive Board, we serve 3-year terms. And so we are recognizing people at the end of their 3-year term.
At the end of their term.
At the end of their term, regardless of what, because they're getting a gift, doesn't mean they can go away. If they want to be reappointed, we want to. we're very open to that as well. But it just, we all have our paid jobs. We're not paid to contribute to Missouri Evergreen like we all do. So this is just a way of saying thank you to those board members who take the time out to respond to the emails, go to the exec board meeting. Just our way of saying thanks.
So in the room.
In the room, we have Katie Earnhardt.
Thank you.
Sure. And then we have Rebecca and Kate Coleman here.
And not in the room, we have Kate Coleman. She's on the meeting. So thank you, Kate. Kate may be one of the hardest working members. She's doing double duty with the cataloging committee chair as well as being an executive board member. So we certainly appreciate that. And then we also have Rebecca Lewis from Stone County. For some reason, she decided having a baby was more important than being with us today. Don't blame her a bit. Congratulations to Rebecca.
I'm actually on the call.
Rebecca's on the call. Yay! Congratulations.
Thank you.
And then Sue has a presentation.
Okay, so this past year, we have been very fortunate to have a great leader among us, and that is Ron Eifert.
I was looking around to see who you were talking about.
It's you, it's you. We present this to you in gratitude of all of your wisdom and patience and expertise leading this group, and we appreciate you.
Thank you. So I had to be bullied into taking this position. Thank you, Shannon. Between Shannon and Sue Sostak, they kind of worked me for a couple of years to get me in this. It's totally out of my comfort zone, but it has been so much fun, and I feel like I've grown professionally from serving the consortium. So thank you all for letting me have that opportunity and being such a great group of people that my job was a lot easier. And Sue hung around as past president advisor and my training wheels for a long time because I really felt like I needed it. So big thanks to Sue. Steve has made things very easy. I can't imagine how I would have made it through without Steve to take care of all of the day-to-day detail work. They joke about in the background, if you have a Zoom call with me, you see all my books in the catalog in the background. I would have a book fort by now of books that I didn't get around to processing if I were having to do all the stuff that Steve does for us. So next item on the agenda is executive board election. And I'll let Sue come back up as chair of the nominating committee.
Just as a recap, just to let you know that we, every June meeting, usually at our MPLD meeting, and via Zoom, that we elect board seats to Missouri Evergreen Executive Board. Terms are for 3 years. The commitment is about an hour or so a month for executive board Zoom meetings that are held monthly, and listening to consortium members and hearing their concerns and bringing up policies and other things that we bring back to the general membership for approval. The executive board doesn't do anything without the general membership's approval, because that's how this consortium is run. So as of this moment, we have 2 board members who are available for re-election to the board seat. That would be Katie Hill and Kate Coleman. They are already on our executive board, and they both have expressed their intentions to seek another term. We also have Rebecca Lewis as well. I'm thinking though, since she just had a new baby, I think we're going to give her a year off for her to focus on her family time. So that means there is 1 remaining board seat open. I have talked to several different consortium members, and I have a few names to present to you. One is Terry York, if she still wants to have a board seat. The other is Rebecca Buckley and Steve Campbell. So we have some decisions to make. And this is once again how the consortium works. We make those decisions for our executive board seats. So we have 3. So the nominating committee is hoping to select 3 candidates from the 5 names that I just mentioned. How do we want to do this? Do we want to do it as a slate, or do we want to do it as individuals? Because we have a lot of times, this is interesting because a lot of things we have like, come on, people, let's get on this board. But now we actually have, an election, a true election. So we want to just do it as individual members.
I would almost feel like each, God, it's hard for people to see these people. Eva has a suggestion.
You do. Let's hear it, Eva.
Because continuity is very important in community.
Mhm. Okay. I like that. Do we like that idea?
If you wish to make that as a motion.
All right. So Eva Dunn has made a motion. I shall let you do this, not me.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Old habits die hard.
It does.
So we have a motion on the floor from Eva Dunn to reappoint Katie and Kate as returning members to the executive board. And that would leave the 3rd seat where we would have to have an election from the other names presented. So we have a second to that motion. Have a second from Colleen Knight. So as Steve is tapped, we'll have a vote on the motion, but if there are any opposed, that you need to note that in the chat. So we have discussion on the motion. He is moving that for the sake of continuity, that we reappoint Katie and Kate to continuing terms on the board. Discussion? I don't want to rush this because I don't want anybody to feel like it's a railroad job. So I will. Okay. Nobody's in chat, nobody in the room, so chair calls for a vote. All in favor of the motion on the floor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, indicate in chat or vote. Yeah, I think the number of ayes in the room will have the motion pass. And we're getting additional aye. So, for the whole city.
Oh, Mary Beth has an idea. I can make a motion.
Okay, so.
I just want to say, if there is someone among the other three that really wants to and has not done it before, has Rebecca done it before?
No.
Okay. You know, I'm just, and I'm about to talk about it.
So we do have a motion and a second on the floor to nominate Terry.
Can I have a discussion? We've added a ton of new libraries. I wonder when it's going to be time to add more. Because as we get more and more members, the work is tinier and tinier, it's not actually representing us. So, I mean, we can't just do this on the fly or whatever, but I'm saying that now that we have members willing to serve, we should be adding.
Okay, the discussion in the room is, Carrie Klein is saying that with the expansion of the consortium, we have been at 9 members since we were 9 libraries. So, no, it was expanded. Okay, yeah. Okay, so my ignorance is showing. I came into the history a little late. So we have expanded in the past to our current 9-member seats, 9-member board. We have discussed with the next round of bylaw revisions that maybe it is time for board expansion.
Right, and in terms of timetable for bylaw expansion or bylaw revision, we are trying to make our organization's bylaws fit the type of organization we are. And that's been a very difficult process. So there's probably, you know, we just did a bylaw revision at the beginning of this calendar year. We will probably do another bylaw revision at the beginning of the next calendar year, at which point I am going to strongly be recommending that we expand our board seats because I think it'll be appropriate. But of course, that'll be up to you, just as the executive director. I think it's definitely going to be time.
So if you're willing to serve.
Hang on. Yeah.
So we still have the motion on the floor for Terry to be a board member. Terry is expressing she will do it if pressed, but if there's somebody else that has not served that's willing to step forward, she would be willing to step aside for them as well. Rebecca's on the call.
No, Rebecca.
Rebecca's on the call.
She's on the call.
Oh, she's on the call.
Yes. Rebecca has not served before. Rebecca says in the comments, hi. So we do have, unless the motion is withdrawn on the floor, we need to have a vote for the motion.
Before that, if the bylaws and everything are being reviewed, then out of that, be or when the board is extended, and that way the county can use area work. Actually have Rebecca and Steve as part of the nomination whenever we do expand. Okay, we can do that.
So again, the motion on the floor is to nominate Terry York for a 3-year position on the Missouri Evergreen Consortium Executive Board. We've had discussion. The chair calls for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And again, if you're on the Zoom call, it's very important if you are opposed to put that in the chat. So far, not seeing. So the motion passes. Like we said, the remaining people, when we do expand the board, we know that we have some people standing in the wings to serve. Thank you, Sue, and the nominating committee for the work on that. So now, officer elections. The way the board is set up, treasurer and secretary serve 2-year terms. And I believe Karen and Shannon are in the middle of their 2-year terms, so they will continue as secretary and treasurer. Sue, as past president, will rotate off. As current president chair, I will rotate into the past president position. Carrie Klein was appointed as incoming chair, so she will roll into the chair position. So what we are looking for is a motion from the executive board members who are not already.
Or we can do this executive board as well. Only the executive board that's
Okay, so, and that is, okay.
Yeah.
It was on the agenda, I'm just following the agenda.
Well, but it's a process. Everyone needs to understand the process. So this is how the officers are elected for the organization, is that the executive board elects the officers. The one position that is open that is either not a 2-year term or due to rotation is the incoming vice president, incoming chair. And the executive board will take care of that at the end of the month.
Okay.
Sorry.
So, any other matters to be brought before the group?
Announcement. I have
Oh,
an
Steve, I
announcement.
just announced it.
I probably should have announced this in my executive board, but didn't. Just a reminder, people who are interested in being part of the pilot group for Aspen, the deadline for that is going to be 8 a.m. Monday morning. So you have all through the weekend. If you haven't already signed up, there's actually 6 libraries that have expressed interest in being part of the pilot project. And of course, the 9 libraries from the MLC. We have a total of 15 slots. Get online to that online form, fill that out, and you need to have that in by 8 a.m. Monday so that we can make the decision and then get that onto Equinox. If you don't have the link for the form or have lost that, just drop me an email and I'll send you a link to the form.
All right, so any other matters to be brought before the group? If not, the chair would seek a motion to adjourn. Carrie makes that motion. Second. Get a second. Lisa? Okay. So the meeting stands adjourned. And that means we have 45 minutes of free time before we have to be back for Live to Go. Thank you, everybody.
Just in case. That little thing does not work.
You're just about to bring it on my mic over.
Okay. Hey,